Alright everybody, this is our second over the weekend clash of the Lizardmen and High Elves. My list, if you listen to the other battle report, is exactly the same. Jody's, however, has been tweaked a little bit, and he's going to go over his changes and what's going on. We're doing another battle line. And we've already deployed, as I think I've already said, and he's going first, so we already rolled off. So Jody, go ahead and go through your deployment, and what's the difference this time?
Well, the difference partly is the dice. I have my frosted dice.
Ooh,
that so far rolled me 3 6s and 5, so I hope that luck continues. I got rid of my lion chariot. I changed my my lion block to swordmasters and ran them wide. I don't know how that'll do, we'll see. I'm just trying something different. Instead of my lion chariot and a unit of 5 swordmasters, I have 3 units of 5 white lions as chaff units. One here, one in front of my spears, and then one over there. And my other 10, Kelly's fiance, said she's almost done painting them, so I'm really excited to be able to field really nice painted models. If you can see, I did start painting my eagles already. Almost done, so I'm slowly progressing towards everyone else I play against as far as painted models. So those are the big changes. The only other change I did is on my dragon. I decided that the lance, if I'm going to throw him into something and hope that he stays, the lance is not as good. Also, the way it was you just don't attack him, you attack the dragon. You're more likely to wound the dragon with his spec magic items. So instead, I took the Sword of Might. And then I took, I believe, the Enchanted Shield and the Vagrances of Defense and Dragon Armor. So I have a 2-up rerollable armor save and a 4-up ward on my guy who's static, strength 5, magical. So if I do want to throw him against the Slime, there's a good chance I could plug that up for a couple rounds. And I figured, well, if they're going to attack the dragon, I'll give them a little more incentive to attack my dude, and I'll make it so that he can fight Ethereal if needed. It's just good to have a magic item in your list. Hopefully, hopefully I won't need anything else to have magic. But those are all the changes I made. As you can see, my wizards are not in the bunker, and the reason is because I deny his scouts my back. I figured I might as well leave them out. That way, when this inevitably gets charged, even if they lose, I'm not guaranteed to lose my mages, and it's better for miscasts if he cup hands me. So we'll see how it works, testing new things out. As you can tell, I'm really spread out. I don't like the idea of being really spread out. I don't like the idea of my dragon princes having to take his solo character down. I'm not too worried about the stag, but we'll see what happens.
Alright, you want to do a really quick rundown on your items, since maybe not everyone's watched the other battle report when they watch this one?
I already explained my dragon, what he has. The mage that has some painting done on him has got the Annulian Crystal. He's a level 1 high. The other mage got the Dispel Scroll. He's a level 1 high. When I rolled for spells, both of them rolled a 6 for vols I'm making. And the only thing I really care about is either, I could get rid of the character's ward save, but I opted to go Shield of Sapphire on both of them, because that's, drain magic is why they're in the list. Over here, my noble has, when it comes down to it, he's got the Helmet of Fortune, he's got the Guardian Phoenix, he's got Dragon Armor, and I'm pretty sure he's got a shield. So he also has a 2-up rerollable armor save and a 5-up ward, and he's got a great weapon. So I think that's all my magic, except I do have the Banner of Sorcery and the Skein Sliver and the Dragon Princes. I got the Standard of Discipline in my swords. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Alright, everyone, going through mine as it is the same as before. Got 2 units of Command Skinks over here. Behind him I have my Scarvet, who I've started to paint and working on slowly. He has a great weapon and Armor Destiny for 2-up and 2-up armor and 4-up ward. Then I have my Ancient Stag, my first unit of Skink Skirmishers, and they have shields and javelins. Then I have my Salamander, and both Salamanders have extra handlers, 32 Saurus, hand weapons, and full command. Other group of Skink Skirmishers. Then my Slan in the middle, he is Shadow again. He has Rumination, Ethereal. He has the Divine Plaque of Protection, Cupped Hands, and Standard of Discipline. And as far as his spells, we've got Miasma, Enfeebling Foe, Mind Razor, and Pit of Shades. Same thing as last time. Hopefully this time my pit will go against that dragon and maybe take him out. We've got another group of Saurus, 32 with full command. And behind him I have Skink Priest, who has Harmonic Convergence, which I'm hoping does as well as last time. And also Comet. I'm hoping the Comet gets off a few wounds here and there. Then got my other Salamander, another group of Skink Skirmishers, and my other Ancient Stag, as well as over on the far flank, as far away from the Dragon Princes as possible, are my Cold One Riders, which have a Musician, a Standard, and the Banner of Eternal Flame. As we were deploying, he had won the roll-off for deployment and had to deploy his Dragon Princes, which of course are over there, so I stayed the heck away from them. So that's it. Again, it's battle line. Terrain we didn't really discuss last night, but we'll just go into it. That's a building. We've got a plate for a hill. Again, we got the lake, river in the middle, and over there is a fence. So yeah, that's everything. Also, we got a baby in the video. We got Jack. He is
baby Bromancer.
Yep, he is a cutie, and he is right now asleep, which is great because he's feeling a little bit sick. So it's awesome. Anyway, Jody won the roll off for who's go first, and we're going to pick up with turn. All right, it's the end of turn 1. We also have Matt here. Say hey, Matt. He showed up before turn 1. Jody.
All right.
Speak it.
Movement. Move. Kind of shuffled forward, enveloping. Move my dragon way up here, hoping he'll charge me with his cavalry. Move my white lines up here. Move my eagle up here to eventually either take all the hits or redirect. Move my... No, I don't think I moved my swords at all. Didn't move my bunker, didn't move my archers. Shuffled them up a few inches. Did a lot of movement over here, trying to come in hard. I know my eagle's going to be dead, but you know, that's what he's there for. 50 points of death. During magic, I chucked a bunch of dice that drain magic. He focused on dispelling that, so then I got Shield of Saffrey off on the swords, and then these white lines. In shooting, I was very uneventful. Total between both units, I think I got something like 10 shots through, which is pretty good, but then about average. Out of those 10, I ended up doing a total of like 4 wounds, and like a boss, he chucked 4 dice and got 2 5s and a 6, so he did his armor save. So I only got 1 wound through, but hey, every wound counts. So that's pretty much all we did there. We'll pick it up at the end of 1 after he decides to magic me.
Yep.
Poor magic.
No drain magic for the win. Alright everybody, it was the end of my turn 1 at the bottom. As you can tell, I moved everyone up. Showing you everything. The only charge I did was because I was going to have to deal with that dragon anyway, is I charged it with my my Cold One cavalry. Other than that, I just moved everything up and started taking some shots. As you can tell, I moved my Scarvet and my Stegodon over slightly to the left, and I maneuvered everything else to get shots at the Eagle. And I actually put both my Skinks in a position that if the Eagle died, which I was going to take shots with my Stag first, that both Skinks, both commanding Skinks would then get shots at the White Lions. Well, that is what happened. The Stegodon took the wounds off of the Eagle, and then I took shots from the Skinks at the White Lions and plugged 2 wounds off. So that was pretty good. I'm also pretty far out of charge from the Dragon Princes, which I am excited about. Otherwise, other shooting, my Skinks over here took shots at the other Eagle and knocked 2 wounds off. And then, with a nice angled shot from my Salamander, I plugged the last wound off, which was quite acceptable.
Yes, it was.
The other one was my Salamander's taking a shot at his groups of archers, and I was, after the flame template, I was 6 inches out, and I rolled an 8, so I got all up in that unit and did, was hitting a total of 10, and I did 5 wounds. And unlucky for me, he made that 8 leadership.
Luckily for me.
Kind of backtracking for a second to magic. I was hoping with that unit over there to get a much better result on magic, but I rolled snakes, and with the Annulian Crystal, I had 1 dice, but I channeled, so I had 2. The best thing I thought at the moment was to do Enfeebling Foe on that unit to make it as depleted as possible. Well, I'm sorry, on the General and Dragon, to make it as hard for it to kill me as possible, to be able to stand. And I didn't even roll high enough to cast it with my 2 plus my extra Rumination dice. Other than that, as you can tell, everything else is looking decent my way. I've kind of got everything in where I'm wanting it. Taking some more shots, just hoping the archering does not deplete me too bad. Again, that was my turn 1. We're going to be picking up with turn... Alright guys, it is the round 2, and excuse the VeggieTales in the background.
James, can you please turn that down? Turn down the volume, please. Thank you.
So, yeah, we've got it, and it's turn 2 with Jody, and there's Matt's butt. And go ahead, Jody.
Alright, well, starting over here, we continue that battle in the battle phase. I did 2, he did none. I beat him by 1 because he's got the standard, and he stuck around. Over here and here, I charged his unit of skinks, and they chose to flee, and then they failed charged. Over here, they did not move. They shuffled forward. Spread my mages out a little bit. During magic, I was able to get a drain magic off and a shield Sapphire on them. It was much to Dallas that I had 1 dice left. So he chucked 4 dice, thinking I was throwing my last and a shield, which would allow me to single dice the second shield. So it was really just, he didn't know how many dice I had left, so it was kind of a lucky turn for me. Move my Spear Elves up. During shooting, I plucked a wound off of the Salamander and a wound off of his handler. So that's better than nothing. Over here, I got the charge in there. Did 1 wound.
But you charged the Salamander first with
Salamander first.
Which
he fled.
Fled over there.
So I redirected, and this is the first time it's ever happened to me. The front of my unit was exactly split to his front arc, so we had to 4-up it. So I got into their front, not their flank. Did 1 wound. Took a dangerous terrain. And of course they stuck around on a 4. Over here, and this is what really, I think this is where I made the big mistake so far, is putting them so far away. I did some charges, they ended up fleeing. I redirected into his stag with my DPs. Not really, I needed a 10, and I was either I want to get a 10, 11, or 12, or I want to get like 3 1s, and I got 3 1s. So I actually am happy where I'm at there. It turned out in my favor. Failed charge them to there, so that's where we're at. I think that covers the whole turn. Yeah, I'm worried about my dragon now. I really think I should be doing more wounds. I haven't been getting as many attacks through and wounding like statistics would warrant. So these dice, 1 more round on my turn, and if they don't start performing better, I'm going to trade them out, just like the Jets.
He's going to go to the bench.
So
go to the bullpen.
We'll see what happens.
Alrighty, it is turn 2. Kind of a weird turn for Dallas. I charged twice over here at his White Lions and made them run off. I was hoping to get them further away, either into the river to make dangerous terrain or away from the stupid BSB, but neither of those happened. I moved so they both fell charged, as you see. I moved my Commanding Skinks to block the charge from the Dragon Princes. Other than that, that was my only charges this turn. I moved everything up and around. Let's see here. My Chameleons took shots there, didn't get anything through. Over here, those Skinks shot at the Swordmasters. I plucked 1 wound off. My Salamander took shots at the Spear Elves. I got 4 wounds through. and he then failed his leadership, so he's running. Other than that, everything rallied. Magic, I was really dumb, forgot drain magic, so I didn't throw the right dice, and messed up pretty much my whole magic phase. So it was pretty bad. In combat, the White Lions versus my Chameleon Skinks, he knocked 3 through. I got, or 2 through actually. I got nothing back, and I then failed the leadership 4 and ran, but he wasn't able to catch me. Over here, he did 3 wounds, and I did nothing back as I was expecting, and I still stuck on the 6. So my Coleon's been, well, grinding away, just staying there, holding up the dragon. So I mostly accept that. Let's see. So yeah, everything else is like so, and we're going to be going into the next turn. So we'll see. All right, ladies and gents, it was turn 3. Top of turn 3 with the High Elves. Go ahead and go through it. And there's Jack, the cutie.
Did a lot of charges on this move. I charged my White Lions into his flank of his Salamander. He held. I charged my White Lions into his Stag. I charged my Swordmasters into his Skinks, and he stood and shot. Then they kept fleeing. I charged my Princes into his, and the theory behind that was I had about a 50-50 chance to get completely out of his line of sight on the overrun, and I decided that if I'm going to get charged no matter what, might as well take that shot, 50-50 chance to save that unit. During Magic, I got a crap ton of dice. I rolled like a 10 on like 4 dice, so he easily dispelled that. Then I took like 5 dice, got like 21 on drain. He dispel scrolled it. I had 2 dice left, and he had 2 dice left, and I didn't even actually get shield off. So complete dud for Magic. So next turn is going to be really tough for me. I'll probably have to be forced to use my dispel scroll at some point. So I think Magic might beat me. We'll see what happens there. Combat, obviously destroyed them, and I overran. I needed a 6 and I got a 7, so I got into their flank. And because I'm a dick, the way I formed up, we did a line of sight and even had Matt, third party, check it. And this model right here is literally a hair's width outside of a charge from those Saurus. So that really went in my favor. Over here, obviously I beat him, but I can't reform, so I can't reform off the table edge. Although I wonder. No, I can't, because it's on my center, so I couldn't reform. Not too big of a deal, really. There. Over here, I was able to get out of the Stag's line of sight, but not this guy. You already had one, so no. So that's there. They rallied, and I think that's pretty much everything. Bunch of shooting. Nothing happened. If you can tell, I changed dice, because on 33 shots, I didn't get any wounds through to his Salamander or to the Saurus Warriors. I had like 10 against 1 and 20-something against them. So the fact that I wasn't able to wound at all, I rolled nothing but like 1s and 2s, I decided to change dice, and already they've been doing better for me.
Alright guys, we'll pick up a second with my turn, everybody. It was the bottom of turn 3 with the Lizardmen, and during my turn, I really only went 1 charge, which was my Salamander into the Swordmasters, and main reason why I did that was I was looking to cause him to make a fear check and hopefully fail it. The other possible charge that I was looking at was possibly doing my Scarvet into the Dragon Princes, but as I was figuring that one out, I would have had to have rolled quite well to win that through because of the static combat rest that he already has in that unit. So, and I couldn't get the Stegodon in there because he was just right out of the charge arc in his front. So I chose to move them like so, moved him around to the other side, and stayed there and took some shots at the guys and plucked a wound through. The other one was I moved my skinks to try to take out those white lions, and also was the other combat over here with the stag. During magic, I rolled a pretty poor dice. I rolled 3, which his annealing crystal took it down to 2. And he channeled, so it was basically 2 dice versus 4, and I threw 3 dice at enfeebling foe on the sword masters because I wanted to get their strength down to do as few wounds as possible. So my original idea was that he was probably going to get plenty of wounds through, and he was disrupting me on the flank. So I was hoping to win or get enough so that I could hold with my general there, and then reform to face them, so I would no longer have the so I would no longer be losing the disruption there. On my dice, I threw the 3 dice on it and miscast on it, so got the spell through, only lowered the strength by 1. And on my miscast, I rolled a 4, which was the large round template and possible losing the wizard as a casualty. I decided to pass that one off because I didn't want to lose my salon. Cupped hands, and I got it, sent it over, did a wound, but then he rolled a 5 on the dice, so he kept his wizard. Combat, the Stegodon did as I was expecting and was able to take out the white lion. I decided to move him around that way because I was expecting to try to get him into the Swordmaster fight, and his dragon was at least 1 turn out of doing anything because of where he was positioned. Combat went extremely well in my favor, particularly because the enfeebling foe was on the Swordmasters. He didn't fear me and did 1 wound to a skink, and then did 4 wounds to my Saurus. I did enough to beat him by 3, and then his ran, but I rolled horribly on the pursuit, and so I'm now just pursuing them around. We will see how that goes next turn. As you can see, I'm kind of moved. Oh yeah, my command skinks rallied back there. So yeah, it's still really anyone's game, just because. I mean, particularly with the Swedish Compen place, I've got to win by quite a margin to pick up anything. So it's
tournament-wise, I still have a chance. Game-wise, there's no way I'm going to pull off enough points at this point to end in 2 turns.
So anyway, we're going to pull into turn 4. Right, guys, it was the top of turn 4. Jody, go ahead and go through what happened on the turn.
Alright, I moved my Dragon Princes way around so that the charge would be tough for him to get in, and pretty much kind of trying to save the points at this point. Otherwise, these guys still did not rally. I debated whether or not to do it, but in the end I charged my white lions in there thinking, hey, I'm flanking. They're stubborn on an 8, so he took a wound, I took a wound. Of course, I failed my leadership. So they ran. They, of course, rallied, so I reformed them in the middle. My hope is to flee with them and get as far away as I can, and then rally and save points. Move my archers up because this is worth more than them. Let's see what else. Move my dragon around, hoping to do something fun with him if he's not dead next turn. So that'll be interesting. Charge my other white lions into there and fail charging like an 11. Move my wizards around a little bit, and then magic. I took 5 dice to drain, and of course I got it irresistibly. So I took a wound, and then all but 1 of my dice were sucked from the pool, and I had like 6 left. So, I mean, I got drain off, which is really good, but I really wish I would have gotten either shield or double drain. So we will have to see what happens during Dallas' turn. It's looking pretty bad for the High Elves. At this point, I'm hoping that the number of points that he will get from me will not take him above what he needs for the tournament with the way the comp works out. But that's not really a victory. That's more of a shallow victory. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, all right, I'll pick up with the bottom of turn. All right, everybody, bottom of 4. To let you know what happened, I charged my Saurus, the furthest away Saurus, into the Sword Masters, and it bounced out through both the archer units over that way. Then with the other Saurus, I charged the the White Lions that were there. They fled. And then I also attempted to charge them with the other Saurus, the Sword Masters, and they fled a little bit further away, so they're over that way. Otherwise, I moved my Salamander to take a shot at the Annuling Crystal Wizard, moved everyone over, trying to get away from the dragon that's coming that way. Moved my guys over around to try to get into finally getting a dual charge where I can actually have a better chance at winning combat. And during magic, I threw, let's see here, I threw the dice at Miasma to try to take movement off of there. Did not, well, I got it, but he dispelled it. And then I threw the rest of it at Harmonic Convergence on that unit, because I felt I would beat the archers, but I wanted it for the next combat with the bigger archer block to try to do more there. Shooting, I pegged a wound off the White Lions. I pegged actually 2 with some very nice shooting by my stag off of the unit of Dragon Princes here. And also got the wound through on the wizard, so that was great. So no more Annuling Crystal. I'm very pleased with that. Combat, the only real combat was against the archers, which I destroyed and then overran into his bunker archers. Still, those guys are fleeing. If they reform, they're going to be either back in the game or, or whatever. I'm going to be hard pressed to get to them, and also dealing with the dragon. So it's going into turn 5 with the High. Alright, everybody, it was the top of turn 5 with the High Elves. Jody with the ever cute Jack is going, so go ahead and tell everyone what's happening.
Alright, well, I did some fancy maneuvering and moved my Dragon Princess out of the line of sight of his guys by doing a swift reform and then a move. My real only hope over there is to last one round of combat. That's never going to happen at the end of 6. So we'll see. That'll be seriously what wins or loses the game. Over here, I knew my archers were going to get wrecked. They did. I did like 3 wounds. He did like 10, so I fled. Not off the board, so hopefully they rally and I get my points. Moved my mage up as chaff, and they rallied. So I'm fairly confident not all this will be gone, but I know that probably at least my swords will be gone. This is the bottom of 5. Over here, they rallied. They charged in, did a wound, but he had a rank, so he was steadfast. Past his leadership, of course. And then, let's see what else. My dragon actually came down to my dragon. He got 4 hits through and 4 wounds. It's strength 7, so no armor on the stag. So I killed the stag right out. He only had 3 wounds left. So that helped. And then he overran. I knew he wouldn't necessarily get there, but I'm at least wanting maybe I can get the Salamander next turn, depending on where he's at. So, yeah, that's kind of where things are at. I'm still thinking I'm going to lose, but now I feel like if I can retain my Dragon Prince points, I won't lose by so much that I will lose the tournament points. So we'll see. Magic was pretty uneventful. I did get Drain off. I actually thought it was probably smart that he let Drain off, because at this point he doesn't really need magic. And I really needed shield on my over here. So
yeah. I felt like this next turn I don't need much magic, so yeah, I did definitely wanted to just go after the shield and make sure that those archers did not hold too long with the 5-up ward. Alright guys, we're going into the bottom of 5. Alright everybody, it was turn 5, and really what I did was I first, with my Saurus, I charged his bunker of archers. They were fleeing, so they had to continue fleeing off the board. I then went to charge his mage, who he used to flee, and bounced out through the both units and out back over that way. That one was really my only charge for the turn. So, as you can tell, I moved everyone around trying to hem them in. I'm probably not going to get that happening either. He'll probably pull off some crap. And during magic, I had a decent number of dice. I had 8, but he did have drain magic. But because of comp, I'm really needing to get the points. I was going to go for it and try to get the dragon with a miasma pit combo. And miasma, I threw 4 dice at, plus the extra dice or whatever, and he threw all of his at it and dispelled it. Then my other dice, actually, just to let everyone know, I forgot to do the miscast on my wizard.
Oh,
so,
let's do that on camera. That would be fantastic.
So yes, let us see. Here we go. That is the 2. So that is the that's the large round template.
Let me make sure.
And then he possibly gets lost as a casualty. I do believe that is correct on a 2.
You're probably right.
Holding steady right here. Hope everyone's doing quite fine.
Yeah,
large round?
Yep.
Alright. And so he's going to possibly take a wound. We'll roll it on camera. Hey look, he took a wound. Now let's see if he dies a horrible death. 3 and below, he dies.
He dies
and he dies. So watch this. He dies.
Points for Jody!
Alright, so there you go. A little bit of action right in the middle of the battle report. Isn't that awesome? Okay. So otherwise, I moved people around. Oh yes, I did, because the miscast, I did do it on a comet. And that dice right over there. Can you turn that to a 1? Because that's the number of counters it has right now. So right now, cast it right there, and it, boom, miscast. I did some shooting with both my skink units at his white lines back there, plucked 2 wounds off, so he's down to 1. My Saurus then went after the Sword Masters. Salamander. I'm sorry. Salamander went into the Sword Masters. I was able to get enough to get 5, but only got a wound through, and he held. So no issues there. All in all, kind of a what could have been a big time if I could have gotten that miasma pit combo. Maybe took out the dragon. Oh yeah. But otherwise, I'm just kind of taking out as many points as I can right now. Still going to see what that dragon does as we go into the final round. Hey everybody, it's top of 6. As you can tell, a lot of crap not on the board anymore. Jody, go through your turn 6.
Alright, well, for charges, I saw an opportunity to get rid of the Saurus. And by doing my dragon into his salamander. And my thought was he was going to flee with that, and then I was going to redirect into his Saurus. He didn't flee, and I think that was actually smart, because his salamander, A, did 2 wounds to me, my dragon, like a boss, and he would have stuck if, the way Dallas reads the salamander hand rules is if any wounds, so there's 2 skinks left, and I do 3 wounds, that extra one will carry over to the salamander, because it's not, because of the way it's set up. So that's the way he plays it, and because of that, I was able to kill the salamander.
Yeah, basically, if you do more wounds total than there are, like, just the way I do it is, if there's more wounds that you do more than the salamander and the handlers have combined, I don't see that even if you randomize more to the skinks that it makes sense that the rest of them would not carry back over to the salamander. If anyone says that that's wrong and it's actually not the case, let me know so I play it differently, but that's been how I've been playing it the whole time.
Okay. So with that, I then got into the flank of his Saurus instead of the rear. I got into the flank, so I shifted over on the overrun, and then when we resolved this combat, since no magic was there, I was able to do full on. I mean, my Sword Masters did like 8 wounds. My guy only did like 3. My dragon did like 4. And it's just, I mean, I ended up with killing like almost 20 guys. And again, it was a lot to do with the fact that, you know, the dice were in my favor this time, not Dallas's. So he ended up losing that combat. He rolled an 8 to flee. I rolled a 9 and an 8 to pursue. I got really lucky there. Over here, same thing happened. I got 2 more wounds through, and he's still there. Over here, I did something. I was kind of a jerk, and I could tell that Dallas really didn't want me to do it, but he's a nice guy, and he admitted that it was feasible, so he allowed it. It was, I did a musician and did a swift reform, and then on my center, I was able to, this guy being in the middle, just barely, not even touch the edge, and squeeze through his 2 at 2 wide. Now, later on, he did say, it's like, well, you could have always done it over here and came this way, so it wouldn't have mattered if I went this way or this way. Either way, though, it was kind of a jerk thing to do, but I know if I lost those points, and there's a good chance I was going to, that, and that's, you know, or no, over 600 plus my BSB, that's like 750 right there. So right now, you know, I am sitting really well on his turn. He gets all his magic and try to scrape up some points. So we'll see what happens there. I feel like my spears are going to get charged, and I'll probably lose them. I'll probably actually end up fleeing and hope they don't run off the board. But we'll see what happens.
Alright, everybody, it's going to come up with the bottom of turn 6. Alrighty, everybody, it was the end of turn 6 for the Lizardmen. Really was uneventful completely. Actually, I did take out those Spear Elves. I did some charged with the Chameleon Skinks to get them out of the way, didn't allow the Saurus to charge. They fled the Chameleons, and the Chameleons ended up catching them, so that was excellent. The Wizard then held and didn't run off, which would have been nice. I charged my Skinks here into the white lines, trying to take them out, and that combat ended up with my first unit of Skink Skirmishers dying and me doing no wounds, and I held, so I think it ended up being even after the charge in the flank. During magic, Comet went off and hit nobody. It could have possibly hit the wizard and killed it, or it could have hit my Chameleon Skinks, but it did absolutely nothing. In other words, magic, I tried to do miasma on the dragon's unit, or the general. It actually ended up being kind of a pointless spell because his initiative's too stupid high. So then the only other option I had was to throw Pit on it and hope for a 6 to take out something, because that was really all I had at that point. And I threw the dice at it, and he ended up using the Dispel Scroll that had been hanging around the whole game. Again, took some shots at that, plucked a wound. That was pretty, there wasn't really much that would have happened there. So in all, turn 6, besides me getting a few extra points from the spears, was about all that happened. And in retrospect, we decided he probably should have held and seen if he could have held that unit out at the end of the turn, and because I possibly might not have gotten my Saurus in there, and then he might actually got some extra points instead of losing them. But hey, anyway, after the game ended up, he won by 530 something. I don't remember the exact points. So with that, he won by 3, so it was 13-7. Counting his comp was 26 to point something to my 15.8 or whatever. I can't remember what my point something is. So anyway, so really after that, it's a decisive victory to him. So after that, I'm going to go through my comments and let Jody finish it up. My comments are, I don't know. I think I really should have played a more aggressive game, because with him being 13 to my 8 for comp, I absolutely got to get points. And most of his points are there in that dragon and there in the Dragon Princes, and I couldn't catch the Dragon Princes. Probably really it ended up being me having some poor movement on my part to try to rein them in. I should have done something different. But they're, units like that are smaller, tricky to capture, I guess. I actually realized what I probably should have done to try to get that off now at the end. A little bit different movement. But anyway, other than that, let's see, what else happened? Really, I think my MVP, oddly enough, I mean, those two are quite a lot less than that unit of Dragon Prince, yet held them up the whole game. But really, I think it would be, I don't know, either some of my Saurus did well. My cold ones did pretty well holding up with the dragon for so long, especially since, it has the dragon armor. And the Saurus did alright. My shooting was pretty good, but probably, I guess, my Salamander. My Salamander did quite well. But, I don't know, I think overall it was just kind of a blah all the way around. Nothing really stood out for me in this game as far as units that did well for me. Yeah, so nothing, just kind of average all the way across, and I need to do a little bit better. Shadow, going back to Shadow, with that one, it didn't come up super handy most of the game, except for Enfeebling Foe helping me take out the Sword Masters. Other than that, it kind of was the whole game. I didn't really have any points to get Mind Razor off. Miasma didn't come in super handy because it was getting dispelled a lot, and Harmonic Convergence helped a little bit, but not as well as it did the last game. So again, it was kind of just average all the way around. Trying to think of any other things. Also, just as a note, we found out over this weekend that some people aren't going to be able to make it, so boo on them. I understand, stuff happens. But with that, no one that's really going to be playing is going to have much that's for fire. And with Dragon Princesses and Dragon Armor and Dragon Helms going around, there's really no reason for me to have Banner of Eternal Flame in my cold ones, so I'm going to be switching that out to something else. Probably finding 5 points and going to the Banner of Swiftness. So that'll help. Might actually have plucked a wound or two off on the dragon. And yeah, so with that, I want to switch it over to Jody. Go ahead and give some of your closing remarks.
I think obviously the biggest mistake for me was putting my BSB and my Dragon Princess so far away. My idea behind it was I'll come in, go through those units and then come in for the flank. But I wasn't thinking straight, and I didn't even think about the fact that he could redirect with his camo. I wanted the charge, and I wanted to get the stag on the charge. I felt confident with that. But as it is, I ended up having to just do some fancy maneuvering the whole game to save 720 points. And and I only tied up 420. But the 3 units of 5 White Lions, I liked them. I don't know if I like them more than the Chariot, because the Chariot did so much for me last game. But I do like them. We actually thought that Dragon and a Rider getting pitted shaded and making the initiative test, the Dragon's going to make it on his own initiative. Well, when Matt came over, the way he read the rules made us think, wait a second, no, on a check, the Rider's initiative is used, or the highest initiative is used for the whole unit, unless separate models. But since it counts as 1, the Dragon will actually use the General's leadership. And he's pretty sure, initiative, I'm pretty sure he's like initiative 8. So it's not ever going to go below a 6 to kill him and the Dragon, which is still possible, but at that point it kind of takes Pit of Shades away from me completely. I'm not scared of Pit of Shades at all. Otherwise, I feel like once I got my Dragon in, I was fine. I knew I needed to do combo charges with the Dragon as one of the things in there, so he can do a lot of wounds, not die, and I can get ranks from the spears, which ended up happening. So up to that point, I was kind of I was really worried. I don't know if he takes the banner away. I guess I don't know if I want to do the same thing. The 2-up never really came in but for once. So I don't know how I deal with the list otherwise now that we both played it a couple times. I think the Swordmasters, they didn't perform as well as the White Lions because they're not stubborn, and they got enfeebled, so they're down to 4. Also, on that charge, I should have charged my 3 White Lions into it as well. I don't know if I could have. I should have positioned my White Lions so I could have overran or something so that I could have gotten that combat. Because when he flanked me and stuff, my swords just couldn't do anything. So I don't know if I prefer White Lions or swords, but I do like the little units of White Lions a lot, just especially against shooting. Boom, boom, boom. Not really anything else that I can think of to talk about. Drain Magic continues to be the spell I really need to get, and Shield of Sapphire is seeming like a standard for me too. So I think I like this list the way it's at. If I can keep my Dragon Princess and my Dragon alive, I don't think I will lose many games. So maybe I'll throw them in a corner and never let you touch them. But we'll see. I had fun. It was very intense, very close to the last battle. I mean, that battle determined it. It was between a win and a tie. So it wasn't as overall fun, I think, as the last game. It was because it was more intense. But I think we both learned a lot. And that's all.
Alright guys, thanks everybody for watching. This has been two battle reps over the week. And yeah, so probably next week's going to be our tournament. Having less people than we expected. I think we're going to have like 6, so we're still going to go 3 games. So hey, it'll be fun. Yeah, so hey everyone, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll pick up later. Bye.